Welcome to ZOZDO Sleepy Stories. We're thrilled to have you here for another cozy tale to spark your imagination. If you enjoy our stories, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with your friends and family. Your support helps us keep the bedtime magic alive. Now grab your blanket, get comfy, and let's dive into tonight's story. Good evening, my friend. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Andy, and tonight it's my honor to be your companion and guide on a quiet journey through one of the most timeless cities in the world, Rome. But before we set foot in her ancient streets, I invite you to take a moment just for yourself. Let the day roll off your shoulders. Let the thoughts slow down like gentle ripples on a moonlit river. Let everything soften, because this is your time now, your time to rest, to drift, and to simply be. So go ahead, make yourself comfortable, adjust your pillow, pull the blanket up close, and when you're ready, let your eyes close like the final pages of a long, beautiful chapter. Now, take a deep breath in through your nose, and as you slowly exhale, feel the weight of the day melt away. Let's do that again, just like waves coming in and out on a quiet shoreline. Inhale, feel your lungs gently fill with air. Exhale, feel your body drop just a little deeper into the mattress. Nothing to do now, nowhere to be, just you, your breath, and the soft rhythm of the night. Each breath you take is like a lullaby for the body, a quiet signal to your nervous system that says, it's okay now, you're safe, you can let go. As you continue breathing naturally and peacefully, I want you to imagine something with me. Picture yourself in a quiet room, high above the cobblestone streets of Rome. The window is open just a crack, and a cool breeze dances in, carrying with it the scent of old stone, fresh basil, and the lingering warmth of the sun that slipped beneath the horizon only a short while ago. You're wrapped in a soft linen blanket. The room is quiet. The city hums gently beneath you, like a lullaby written in light and shadow. Off in the distance, a bell tower rings, not loudly, just enough to remind you that time is still ticking, but there's no rush. Not here, not tonight. Rome is asleep, but in her quiet alleys and moonlit piazzas, life still stirs. There are people, kind and humble, who begin their work just as the rest of the world winds down. And tonight, we'll meet a few of them. They're not the ones you see on postcards or in tourist photos. They are the gentle heartbeat of the city after midnight, each playing their part in keeping the eternal city alive in their own small, beautiful ways. But before we meet them, let's stay right here, just a little longer. Let's deepen that relaxation. Take another breath with me, slow, steady. Notice the rise of your chest and the fall. Let your shoulders relax. Let your hands unclench. Feel the softness in your jaw, in your brow, even in the space behind your eyes. Maybe you can feel a gentle tingling in your fingertips or a warm heaviness in your legs. That's your body saying, yes, I'm ready. Let me remind you, there is nothing expected of you tonight. You don't need to fix anything. You don't need to remember, perform, or prepare. You are enough, just as you are. And this gentle moment of stillness is enough. Tonight's journey is not about logic or learning. It's about letting go. It's about wonder, about slowing down enough to notice the quiet beauty that often hides in plain sight. And so, as we begin our slow descent into slumber, I ask you to imagine that you're stepping out of your room, wrapped in a light shawl, onto a narrow Roman balcony. Below you, the city is hushed. A cat slips across a rooftop. A lantern flickers near an archway. And somewhere, in the distance, you hear the soft, steady sound of someone sweeping ancient stones clean. You are part of this city tonight. You belong here. And as your thoughts grow quieter, the city's pulse grows softer. Soon, we'll meet Marco, the gelato maker, whose hands move with memory and care as he prepares sweetness for the waking day. We'll walk beside Lucia, the quiet librarian of the Vatican archives, who finds comfort in forgotten pages and candlelight. We'll sit on the Spanish steps with Valentina, whose violin sends lullabies into the sky. But for now, you don't have to go anywhere. You can just stay here, wrapped in warmth and ease, breathing gently, resting deeply. You are safe here. You are welcome here. You are home. And now, as the music gently swells beneath my voice, feel free to let my words fade away. Let your mind wander into dreamscapes of fountains and domes, of ivy-covered walls and starlit arches. There's no wrong way to sleep. Let your breath be your guide. Let your body be your anchor. And let the city of Rome carry you through the night. Sleep well, my friend. We'll begin the story soon. But first, just rest, breathe, and let go. As the night deepens over the eternal city, the sky above Rome has taken on that velvety indigo hue, somewhere between midnight and dawn. You can almost feel time slowing down, like the last soft notes of a lullaby. The moon, round and golden, hovers just above the rooftops, casting a warm glow on the old clay tiles and stone facades. Shadows stretch gently along the narrow cobblestone alleys. The city has exhaled. Rome is falling asleep. But in the quiet, something beautiful happens. The city doesn't stop. She simply shifts. Street lamps flicker to life, casting halos of amber light on winding lanes. The daytime sounds, honking scooters, hurried footsteps, chattering cafes, all fall away, replaced by something softer, more intimate. You might hear the distant echo of a violinist practicing by candlelight, or the rhythmic sweep of a broom brushing away the day's dust from ancient stone. This is the Rome few people see. This is the Rome that belongs to the night, and it's here that we meet Marco. Marco is a gelato maker, but not just any gelato maker. He is the third generation in his family to run a tiny gelateria tucked into a quiet alley in the neighborhood of Trastevere. It's a modest shop painted in pale blue with shutters that creak when the wind blows from the river. By day, it's a favorite among locals and a hidden gem for the lucky tourist who wanders off the beaten path. But by night, it becomes Marco's sanctuary. The clock has just struck 2 a.m., and while most of the world sleeps, Marco is tying his apron and unlocking the heavy wooden door to his shop. He doesn't mind these hours. In fact, he prefers them. There's something sacred, he believes, about preparing sweetness while the rest of the city dreams. He flips the switch, and soft yellow light spills across marble countertops and steel gelato basins. The scent of fresh cream, roasted pistachios, and warm vanilla hangs in the air like a memory you forgot you had. Marco hums an old Italian tune, something his grandmother used to sing while stirring custard on the stove. He moves with care, with rhythm, with reverence. First, he checks the base mixtures he prepared the night before. One flavored with Sicilian lemon zest, another steeped in dark chocolate and a hint of espresso. He opens a wooden box filled with toasted hazelnuts and smiles. They smell like home. You see, for Marco, gelato isn't just dessert. It's history. It's love. It's a language all its own. He stirs slowly, patiently, like an artist mixing paint before a canvas. The machines hum to life, a soft, soothing sound, not unlike a lullaby in mechanical form. He moves from station to station, pouring, folding, freezing, tasting. The night wraps around him like an old friend. Outside, the streets are still. A single bicycle passes, its wheels whispering across the stones. A cat darts under a parked car, pausing just long enough to watch Marco through the window. He doesn't notice. He's lost in the ritual. The making of gelato for Marco is a kind of meditation. Each scoop he creates is layered with memory. Summers in Naples with his cousins, the first cone he served on his opening day, the flavor his mother requested on her last birthday. Tonight, he's preparing a new recipe, fig and honey, inspired by the fruit tree that grows in his courtyard and the jar of golden honey gifted by a beekeeper friend. He stirs it gently, tastes it slowly, and closes his eyes. Perfect. By morning, children will press their faces to the glass window of his shop, eyes wide with wonder. Tourists will stumble upon it by chance and walk away believing they've discovered a secret. But for now, it is just Marco, and the quiet, and the sweet perfume of frozen dreams. In the corner of the shop, a tiny radio plays softly, just an old Italian ballad drifting through the room. Marco wipes his hands, walks to the front, and opens the shutters just a crack. He looks out into the night. A full moon hangs above the rooftops, and for a moment, he feels as though the whole city is holding its breath. Just for him, he smiles, and so do we. Now, as you rest here with me, let your mind picture that scene. Feel the cool marble under Marco's fingertips. Smell the sweetness in the air. See the gentle glow of lamplight spilling onto the street. And know that even in the quietest hours, there is beauty being made just for you. Breathe in and breathe out. You're doing wonderfully. You're safe here. We'll meet our next night dweller soon, but for now, just enjoy this softness. Let your body sink deeper. Let your thoughts grow quieter, and let the city of Rome carry you just a little further into dream. The night deepens still. In the heart of the Vatican, hidden behind towering walls and winding stone corridors, there is a room that never quite sleeps. It doesn't whisper. It doesn't hum. It holds its breath. This is the Vatican Secret Archive, a place where time folds in on itself, where every shadow has a story and every parchment carries the weight of centuries. And tonight, there is one light glowing within its ancient chambers, a soft golden pool of candlelight, and beside it sits Lucia. Lucia is a quiet woman. She doesn't speak much in the daytime, but at night, her soul becomes luminous. She is a keeper of forgotten things, a caretaker of letters, maps, diaries, and scriptures, some written by hands long gone, many too delicate to touch without gloves and reverence. Her shift begins at 10 p.m., but it isn't work to her. It's an offering, a calling, a kind of prayer. Tonight she sits at a long wooden table beneath a vaulted ceiling painted with angels. All around her, the faint scent of aged paper, wax, and polished wood. The silence is rich, like velvet, the kind of silence that holds you rather than ignores you. Lucia opens a leather-bound manuscript, a faded volume written in Latin, its edges fragile and golden. The script is so delicate it looks like it might float off the page if she breathes too hard. She smiles softly and begins to read. Her eyes dance across the page, not with urgency, but with quiet wonder. Every phrase, every brushstroke of ink feels like a secret whispered from one soul to another across the bridge of centuries. Outside, the city sleeps, the dome of Saint Peter's Basilica glows like a lantern in the fog. A few birds stir in the trees, unsure if morning has arrived. But inside the archive, time doesn't pass. It simply unfolds. Lucia gently turns another page. Each one reveals a new world, a king's confession, a forgotten love letter, a map of the stars drawn by candlelight, centuries before man ever touched the moon. She doesn't need music or conversation. The rustle of parchment, the creak of her chair, and the sound of her own breath are enough. She pauses to sip her tea, chamomile with a twist of lemon and honey. Steam curls into the air like incense, rising toward the painted ceiling. Lucia often imagines the voices of those who wrote these pages. What did they fear? What did they hope for? Did they ever imagine that one day, hundreds of years later, someone would be sitting in a silent library at midnight, tracing their words with awe? You see, Lucia believes that stories never really die. They sleep, they wait, and sometimes they awaken, quietly, softly, in the hands of someone ready to listen. Tonight, that someone is her. She lights another candle as the first flickers low. Its flame reflects in the glass of the nearby display case, casting dancing shadows across a marble bust of a Roman philosopher. Lucia leans back in her chair and closes her eyes for a moment, not to sleep, but to listen. And in that stillness, she hears it. The faint ticking of an old clock, the whisper of parchment settling, and the slow, steady heartbeat of Rome at night. Lucia sighs, not from tiredness, but from peace. She doesn't crave rest. She finds it here, in the hush of history, and the glow of stories that once lived and still echo. Outside, the moon casts a beam of silver through the stained glass window, illuminating her face as if to say, "I see you." And Lucia, without opening her eyes, seems to reply, "I see you too. Now, my friend." As you listen to the rhythm of this night and imagine Lucia's quiet sanctuary, allow your breath to slow again. Inhale, exhale. Maybe you can imagine the scent of ancient pages, or the cool stone under your bare feet, or the way candlelight warms a room without ever raising its voice. You are safe here. You are surrounded by stories. You are part of this quiet world now. Let that thought cradle you like a soft blanket. Let it hold you gently as you drift. The next chapter of our journey awaits, down a different street with a different soul. But for now, rest. Let the silence be your friend. Let the night hold you as it holds Lucia, softly, faithfully, completely. The hour grows late now. The stars above Rome twinkle softly in their velvet cradle, and the winds carry the hush of a city blanketed in stillness. It is the kind of quiet that settles into the bones of buildings, the kind of quiet that seeps through the cracks of time and memory. And standing alone under the great archways of the Colosseum, broom in hand, is Enzo. Enzo has worked these streets for over 30 years. He is not famous. He's not the kind of man tourists ask for directions or take pictures of. But every night, as the city rests, Enzo walks the perimeter of Rome's most iconic monument, sweeping the dust from its ancient bones. And though he is alone, he never feels lonely, because he is walking with history. He wears a faded cap, a warm flannel coat, and boots that have memorized the curve of every cobblestone. With slow, deliberate strokes, he sweeps fallen leaves and dust from the base of the amphitheatre, just as he's done nearly every night for decades. To most people, it might look like a simple task, but for Enzo, it's something more. It's communion, it's care. It's his quiet way of saying, I see you, and I thank you. The Colosseum is not empty, not truly. It hums with the memory of footsteps and echoes of voices long gone. Gladiators, emperors, children, poets, travellers. Enzo feels them all in the stone. He sometimes speaks to them too, not aloud, just in thought. Sometimes he asks how their day was. Sometimes he simply says goodnight. Tonight, the moonlight is strong and silver, flooding through the arches and draping the ruins in soft luminescence. Enzo pauses and looks up. He always pauses here, at the southern gate, where the shadows fall the deepest. He breathes in. The air carries a faint scent of cypress and distant rain. He sets the broom aside and rests his hands on the cool, worn stone. For a long moment, he says nothing. He just listens. You see, Enzo believes that old places speak, not with words, but with feeling. And if you're still enough, if your heart is soft enough, you can hear them whisper back. The stone under his fingers feels strong and tired. It has held up countless generations. It has watched love, war, peace, and change, and still it stands. Enzo finds comfort in that. He thinks, if this old thing can keep standing after all it's seen, so can I. He closes his eyes, not to sleep, just to soak in the stillness. The silence isn't empty. It's full of stories, full of weight, full of grace. A soft breeze brushes past, tugging at his coat. Far away, a bell chimes softly, perhaps from a convent, or maybe from a distant piazza. Enzo smiles. His night is almost done. He picks up the broom once more and gives the stone one final sweep, not for cleanliness, but for ritual, for love. This is his act of devotion. Some people pray in churches. Enzo prays with bristles and patience. He finishes his route and walks slowly toward the small bench where he always sits before heading home. It's tucked just behind a broken pillar, half hidden by ivy. He lowers himself gently, sighing with both effort and ease. The Colosseum rises behind him like a sleeping giant, and Enzo, in his stillness, becomes part of it. He takes out a thermos of tea, chamomile with a splash of lemon, and sips slowly. Steam curls around his face. He closes his eyes and leans back against the stone. Now, my friend, as you picture this scene, this quiet man and the ancient walls he tends, maybe your own body begins to soften. Maybe your breath slows. Maybe you feel a warmth behind your eyes or a gentle heaviness in your arms. That's good. That's rest. Approaching. Let yourself imagine the soft sweep of Enzo's broom, the moonlight painting long shadows through arches older than empires, the hush of history wrapping around you like a quilt. You are welcome here. You are cherished here. You are safe. The night still has more to reveal. Soon, we'll meet Valentina and the lullaby she weaves through the Spanish steppes. But for now, let go. Feel your body ease. Let your mind drift like leaves in a fountain. And if sleep comes, don't resist it. Let it carry you. The city is quieter now. Even the breeze seems gentler, as if it too has decided to whisper instead of speak. Somewhere above the rooftops of Rome, a few clouds drift lazily across the moon. They cast slow-moving shadows over the domes, statues, and courtyards below. And in the still heart of the city, where marble meets melody, a soft song begins to rise. It does not come from a speaker or a stage. It comes from the hands of Valentina. Valentina is a violinist, not famous, not wealthy, but gifted with grace, with soul, and with the rare kind of tenderness that only blooms in silence. She plays not for applause, not for recognition, but for the night itself. And tonight, like many others, she sits on the worn stone steps of the Scalinata di Trinità dei Monti, the Spanish Steps, beneath a sleeping city and a sky full of stars. Her case is closed. There is no tip jar. Just her, the violin, and the moonlight. She begins to play. The first notes float into the air like tiny birds. They drift up between the buildings, over balconies, and into the hearts of those lucky enough to be awake. Sometimes a hotel window cracks open just slightly. Sometimes a street cat pauses and listens. And sometimes the marble statues nearby seem to lean in, just a little closer. Her music is soft but not sad. It feels like memory, like nostalgia without pain. Tonight she plays an old lullaby her grandmother once hummed while braiding her hair. It's simple, but full of feeling. Each note glides gently from the strings, carried by fingers that know where they've been and where they're going. The bow moves with the rhythm of a heartbeat, steady, loving, alive. Valentina's eyes are closed. She doesn't need to see. The city has become her stage, her muse, her accompanist. She knows the sound of Rome at night, the quiet clink of glasses being washed in a back kitchen, the low hum of a Vespa turning a far-off corner, the bell tower that always chimes late. It's all part of the music. And in her chest, she feels it too. The way the night holds her like an old friend. You see, Valentina plays to remember, but she also plays to forget. She plays to release. And somehow, between each note, there's room for both. Joy and ache, light and shadow, like the city itself. She changes tunes now, sliding effortlessly into something more dreamlike. Her fingers dance, and the violin sighs. It is not a performance, it is a prayer. And perhaps, if you listen closely, you'll feel it tug gently at the edges of your own memory. She imagines someone far away listening, someone in a quiet room, someone unable to sleep, someone just like you. She imagines her music reaching your ears, and then your heart, and then, finally, your breath. As her piece comes to a close, the last note lingers in the air just a moment longer, and then fades, like mist dissolving in the morning sun. Valentina opens her eyes. She smiles softly, grateful for the silence that follows. Some silences are empty, but not this one. This silence is full, with peace, with presence, with something sacred. She rests the violin on her lap and looks up at the stars above. They blink, slowly, patiently. They've seen it all, and yet, here they are, still shining, just like the music, just like the night. Now, my friend, let your own breathing match the rhythm of that lullaby. Slow and warm. Inhale, exhale, like a bow gliding over strings. You are held in harmony now. Let the music wash over you. Let the calm settle into your bones. There is no rush, no pressure, only softness, only stillness, only the gentle promise of rest. The night is not over, and there are more stories yet to come. But for now, just drift. Let your body become weightless. Let your mind loosen its grip. You are safe, you are loved, and you are not alone. The streets are nearly empty now. Rome sleeps, its windows dim, its fountains hushed, its busy heart beating in a slower rhythm. And beneath that quiet rhythm, gliding slowly along the cobbled lanes, headlights cutting through mist, is a single yellow taxi. Inside behind the wheel sits Matteo. Matteo is not in a hurry. He never is, not at this hour. He prefers to drive at night when the city belongs to itself again, when the crowds fade and the sounds grow soft, when time feels a little less sharp and a little more forgiving. His taxi moves gently along the Tiber River, past bridges built by emperors, past lampposts glowing amber, past shutters drawn closed for the night. The city that thousands rush through during the day now seems to breathe, and so does Matteo. He has a ritual, you see. Every night, after dropping off his last passenger near the Piazza Venezia, he turns down a familiar side street and follows it until he reaches Fontana di Trevi, the Trevi fountain. He parks nearby, steps out into the cool night air, and walks toward the cascading water. At this hour, there are no tourists, no cameras, no clamour, just the fountain and the moonlight, and Matteo. He reaches into his coat pocket and pulls out a coin, always the same kind, always the same hand, and with a small smile, he tosses it gently over his shoulder into the water, not because he's superstitious, but because it makes him feel connected to something bigger, to everyone who ever stood where he stands now, to everyone who ever made a wish in silence, hoping it would find its way through the universe and back into their lives. Matteo doesn't wish for money. He doesn't wish for fame. Tonight, like most nights, he simply wishes for peace, for his wife, who sleeps soundly back home, for his daughter, whose laughter fills their apartment in the mornings, for himself, for the quiet strength to keep moving forward, even when the road is long and winding. The fountain glows, the water flowing like melted glass, whispering secrets into the night. He listens, not with ears, but with heart. After a few minutes, he returns to his taxi. The seat is still warm. He starts the engine and pulls back into the street, tires crunching softly against ancient stone. As he drives, Matteo looks up. The dome of St. Peter's Basilica is visible in the distance, lit from below, rising like a lantern in the dark. He passes alleyways that wind like dreams, shops with iron gates pulled closed, churches whose bells have gone quiet. And he thinks how lucky he is to know these streets, to live in a city where history leans against you like an old friend. Sometimes he imagines the stories happening in the windows above, a couple sharing tea on a balcony, a baker rising early to knead dough, a child curled in sleep, dreaming of something wonderful. He doesn't need to know the details. Just knowing they're out there is enough. You see, Matteo believes that everyone, in their own way, is on a journey. And even though our roads look different, they all lead towards something that feels like home. Now, my friend, as Matteo continues his drive beneath the sleeping city, maybe you too feel the motion of his taxi, the soft hum of the engine, the way it rocks gently as it turns another quiet corner. Breathe in and breathe out. Feel the stillness in your arms, the softness in your shoulders, the calm blooming in your chest. You are on a journey too, not through Rome, but through rest, through release, through the letting go of the day. And just like Matteo, you don't have to know the final destination. You just have to trust the road. Let your breath be the wheel. Let your body be the car. Let your dreams be the map. The night has more to reveal. Soon we'll meet Aurora, high in the skies above the clouds, flying home. But for now, you are here, drifting, safe and held. Let the silence cradle you like a lullaby made of light, high above the clouds, in the quiet cradle of the upper atmosphere. A soft light begins to form on the horizon. Not quite dawn, not quite night. That magical in-between where the stars still linger, but the earth begins to stir. And suspended in that in-between space, flying silently through the sky, is a large silver plane. Its cabin is dim. The passengers are asleep, and standing quietly near the galley, checking final details before landing, is Aurora. Aurora is a flight attendant, but to her she's something else too, a steward of dreams in motion, a guide between time zones, a gentle caretaker of lives that drift between places and clouds. She's been in the sky for nearly 12 hours, departing from Tokyo, flying westward through the night, following the curve of the earth back to Europe. Soon, she'll be home. Rome. Aurora has always loved this part of the journey. Not the takeoff, not the landing, but this liminal moment when everyone is asleep, the cabin lights are low, and she can walk the aisles in complete stillness. It feels like the world has paused just for her. She checks on a young woman curled under a blanket in row 17, gently tucks the edge of the fabric over her shoulder, straightens a pillow for an older man whose mouth has fallen open in sleep, smiles softly to herself. These are small gestures, but they matter. She makes her way to the rear galley, pours herself a cup of hot water, and drops in a chamomile tea bag. As the aroma rises into the air, she gazes out the tiny round window beside her, and what she sees takes her breath away. Below her, clouds stretch like an ocean of snow. Above, stars scatter across the velvet sky, and ahead, the faintest gold line of morning beginning to trace its way across the edge of the world. She sips the tea slowly, holding it with both hands. This is her favorite part of being alive, the quiet, the wonder, the fact that she, a girl from a small apartment in Trastevere, is floating miles above the earth, traveling between night and day, carrying strangers toward their stories. She doesn't take it for granted, never has. To her, flight is still magic, the way gravity bends to engineering, the way humans trust each other enough to rise together into the sky, the way, from up here, the world seems soft and kind and small enough to hold in the palm of your hand. Aurora closes her eyes for a moment and rests her forehead against the window. She pictures her apartment in Rome, the green shutters, the cat waiting in the kitchen window, the way the light filters through her linen curtains just after sunrise. She misses it, and soon she'll be there. But for now, she's content to glide, to float between two cities, between two worlds. As the captain announces the descent into Leonardo da Vinci Airport, she moves gracefully through the cabin, fastens seatbelts, whispers kindly to those who stir, gathers blankets, prepares the final tray, and all the while she carries something inside her that has nothing to do with duty. A softness, a gratitude, a quiet joy. You see, for Aurora, flight is not just a job, it's a reminder that no matter where we come from, we all rise and fall under the same sky. We all dream, we all rest, we all hope. Now, my friend, as Aurora floats gently toward home, maybe your own body begins to settle too. Imagine yourself in that dim cabin, wrapped in a blanket, the seat reclined, the hum of the engine surrounding you like a lullaby. You are weightless, you are safe, you are held in the arms of the sky. Let yourself drift, let the stars fade behind your eyes, let your breath match the rhythm of the clouds below. There is nothing more to do, nothing more to prove. Only softness now, only sleep. We're almost home. Soon we'll return to the cobbled streets, to the warm windows of Rome, and to the hands of those who rise with the dawn. But for now, stay here. Drift dream. Let the sky carry you. The first light of dawn begins to spill gently across the rooftops of Rome. It doesn't rush. It doesn't shout. It tiptoes in, painting golden strokes across stone and shadow, as if the sky itself were an artist. Careful, reverent, unhurried. The night is not gone, not yet, but is shifting. The stars begin to dim. The lanterns flicker and fade, and the eternal city begins to stir. Somewhere in the suburbs, Matteo has parked his taxi in front of a small building wrapped in ivy. He steps out into the cool morning air and hears the soft call of doves nearby. Inside, his family is still asleep. He removes his shoes, walks quietly through the door, and pauses for a moment just to breathe in the warmth of home. There's a faint aroma of lavender from the candle his wife always lights before bed. He smiles. He is home, and he is grateful. Not far away, Aurora wheels her suitcase through the arrivals terminal at Leonardo da Vinci Airport. She looks tired, but peaceful. Her flight is over. The sun glints through the airport windows, catching on her hair, her badge, her eyes. She waves goodbye to a colleague and steps out into the fresh Roman air. It smells like bread and wind and possibility. She turns toward the taxi line. Her shift is done. Now it's her time to rest. Back in Trastevere, the shutters of a tiny shop creak open. Marco, the gelato maker, has just finished preparing his final batch for the morning. He wipes his hands on his apron and places a fresh tray of fig and honey gelato in the display case. Outside, the street is beginning to wake. A scooter rolls by. A bird sings. He unlocks the front door and props it open. The scent of sweetness drifts out onto the cobblestones, meeting the morning with a soft hello. A few blocks away, Lucia, the quiet librarian, exits the Vatican archive. She carries her notebook under one arm, her coat wrapped tight around her shoulders. The city feels different now, lighter, but still holy. The pages she studied during the night flicker in her mind like dreams. She walks slowly, absorbing the sounds of the day's beginning, the clang of a shutter, the first bells of a church tower, a dog barking 2 streets over. She tucks her notes away and disappears into the soft light, satisfied. At the Spanish Steps, Valentina closes her violin case. She stayed longer than usual. The music came easily last night, like water flowing downhill. She stands and stretches, her body long and graceful. She looks around. No one is here yet. The city hasn't caught up, and for a moment, it feels like Rome belongs only to her. She walks toward the fountain at the base of the steps, dips her fingers into the water, and lets its coolness soak into her skin. Then she vanishes down a narrow alley, humming her own lullaby. And then, back at the bakery, Jean-Pierre's old boulangerie, now in Marco's hands, Aurora steps in through the front door. She greets Marco with a soft buongiorno. He nods, already scooping a small cup of pistachio for her. They exchange no more than a few words. They don't need to. This is tradition, a ritual of return. Moments later, Lucia walks in, holding her worn notebook, and orders a cornetto with marmalade. Marco hands it to her with a knowing smile. Outside, on the corner, Matteo appears, having dropped off his last fare. He enters the shop, buys a cappuccino and a small brioche, and raises it slightly toward Aurora and Lucia before heading back into the morning air. This is Rome's heartbeat, not the monuments, not the museums, but these quiet moments of reconnection, these shared silences, these tiny acts of tenderness between people who've never needed to explain who they are or why they're here. They simply are. They belong to each other, to this city, to this beautiful morning. Now, my friend, as the first birds begin to sing and the sun lifts higher into the Roman sky, you may feel the edge of sleep begin to deepen. That's okay. Even though the city is waking, you do not have to. You are wrapped in the stillness of night. You are cushioned in calm. And though the world continues on, you may remain here, in this space between stories, between breath and breath, between dream and dawn. Let the rhythm of the city carry you. Let the warmth of the characters we've met hold you. Let the sweetness of rest soak into every corner of your being. You are safe. You are seen. You are exactly where you need to be. The sun is rising now, but not quickly. It creeps gently, like an old friend arriving without knocking. Its presence familiar, its timing perfect. The final light of night has not yet vanished. It clings delicately to corners of shadow, to dewdrops on ivy, to the tips of church domes still dressed in silver. This, my friend, is a rare moment, a moment between what was and what will be, a stillness just before the world fully exhales. In the quietest piazzas, the street lights begin to blink off. One by one, their glow disappears, surrendering to the amber brush of morning light. And yet, something remains. A softness in the air, a gentleness in the way the light touches stone. It's as if the city itself is reluctant to let go of the dream. And maybe, so are we. In Trastevere, Marco wipes down his counters. The gelato had been made. The cases are full. But for now, he rests on a stool beside the window, watching the light gather on the street outside. His hands are sticky with sugar and flour. His heart full. He's done enough. Across town, Lucia walks beneath the colonnade near St. Peter's Square. The breeze lifts her scarf slightly as the sun warms the marble columns. She pauses to look up, not at the dome, but at a pigeon nesting quietly in the curve of a statue's wing. Even in this sacred place, life is simple, still, alive. On the Spanish Steps, the sound of early footsteps begins to echo. Tourists with cameras, locals on their way to work. But Valentina is long gone now. Her music, however, lingers. Not in the air, but in the stone. A memory etched between cracks in the stairs. If you listen carefully, you might still hear it. A single note, held forever. Matteo has returned home. He's changed out of his uniform, brewed coffee for his wife, and is now lying beside her, one arm tucked beneath his head. The bedroom is filled with the glow of soft morning light filtering through linen curtains. And for the first time in hours, he lets go. His breath slows. His thoughts fade. He slips beneath the surface of sleep like a stone into a quiet river. Aurora is already home too. Her suitcase rests in the hallway. She's taken a shower, put on her softest pajamas, and now stands barefoot in the kitchen, staring out the window. Her cat meows quietly and rubs against her leg. She smiles, strokes its back, and whispers something only the cat will understand. Then she walks slowly to her bedroom, pulls the blanket over her body, and finally, lets the sky inside her settle. Even Enzo, the street sweeper, has returned from his route. He sits on the stoop outside his modest apartment building, eating a fresh piece of bread with olive oil and salt. His broom leans gently against the wall beside him. The neighborhood is just beginning to move, but Enzo is still. He watches a boy ride by on a bicycle, hears the distant bark of a dog, and smiles softly. He's seen this city in every light, but he'll always love the last light of night the most. And you, dear friend, you're still here with me, wrapped in this story, cradled by Rome, surrounded by quiet hearts and sleeping souls. As the night gives way to morning, you don't need to move. You don't need to rise. Let the characters continue on. Let the world awaken around you. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to stay behind, if only for a while longer. Here, in this space between dark and light. Here, in this breath, this moment, this hush. Let yourself feel the beauty of completion. You've walked through the city. You've met the night's keepers. You've floated through dreams and drifted on music. Now, let go. Let sleep take you the rest of the way. If it hasn't already, maybe you feel the warmth in your chest now, or the coolness of air moving in and out through your nose. Or maybe you don't feel anything at all. Just peace, just weightlessness. You are safe, you are warm, you are loved by the night, by the story, and by yourself. Everything is okay. Everything is as it should be. Rest, dream, drift, let go. And so, my friend, our journey together comes to an end. But Rome, Rome, she does not end. Even as you rest now, eyes closed, body still, and mind drifting through quiet currents of sleep, the eternal city lives on, not with noise, not with movement, but with presence, with memory, with soul. Beneath the cobblestones, history hums. In the shadows of columns and cathedrals, stories still flicker, quiet flames that never truly go out. The night may have slipped away, but the spirit of night remains. In the hush of a fountain's flow, in the scent of warm bread from an open window, in the clink of a coffee cup against marble at sunrise. You may be sleeping now, or drifting in that sweet, warm place between dream and wakefulness. But somewhere out there, Marco's gelato is being scooped for the very first customer of the day. Lucia's notebook sits open, a pressed flower marking her latest discovery. Valentina's violin case rests by her bedside, its strings still humming with memory. Matteo's taxi is being washed, ready for another night's journey. Aurora's cat has curled beside her, purring softly against her breath. And Enzo, that gentle guardian of stone, has finished his coffee and leaned back to close his eyes. You've walked among them. You've listened with your heart. You've moved through moonlight and mist, through arches and alleyways, through the soft breathing of a city that holds the world in its chest. And now you carry a little piece of Rome within you, not as a tourist, not as a visitor, but as a dreamer. Because Rome, you see, isn't just a place, it's a rhythm, a lullaby made of stone and stars, a whisper in a language older than time, a love letter from the past that arrives exactly when you need it. So tonight, and every night after, when you feel the weight of the day pressing down, when your thoughts are too loud and your body too tired, you can return to the quiet gelateria, to the moonlit library, to the soft notes on the Spanish steps, to the calm taxi humming down empty streets, to the sky between cities, to the last light of night. Just close your eyes and breathe, and let the eternal city hold you once more. Because Rome never truly sleeps, and neither do the stories waiting for you there. So now, sleep deeply, dear friend, rest well, and dream sweetly. Let the streets of your mind be calm. Let your heart be soft. Let your soul wander freely through arches of light and fountains of memory. You've earned this rest, and when you wake, may you carry a little of the stillness with you, like a secret, like a smile, like a morning that waits just for you. Good night, dreamer, and thank you for walking with me. This has been a night in Rome. Until next time, sleep well.